our first Motiro leadership coaching session. Please introduce yourself on the community of practice. So even if you're not able to follow this live, please introduce yourself in the community of practice under Salam's post, where everybody else has introduced themselves. So let me start by telling you what our objectives are for this session. First of all, we want to make sure that the platform, the community of practice platform, is familiar, so that we're going to be doing a few exercises just to practice using the platform, because that is where we will be doing the course. The advantage of this platform is we are actually recording some of the conversations that we're having. And we are also going to post questions and polls and quizzes and resources and materials and links to videos and all that on that community platform. So the community platform is where things will be happening. It's our classroom. So that's the first objective. The second objective is for you to understand how we will progress in this learning experience. I'm not calling it a training because we want it to be experiential and fun, and training sounds just boring. But the idea is this is really a peer-to-peer learning opportunity where we can share and learn from each other, but it will be structured by science, by self-determination theory, to be very specific. And as we explain how this course will be happening in the coming months, we will explain to you also how you can earn points to earn your certificate and become the elites of the Red Cross, Red Crescent, i.e. a Motiro leadership coach. So this is, you will wear that badge with honor. And it is really part of our personal development to be able to learn about and practice leadership skills. I would also like you to invite more people to join this program for a number of reasons. First of all, the more we are, the better, but also because at one point and soon enough, you will start conducting Motiro exercises in your national society or in your office if you're with the Secretariat. And it's always funner to do it with a friend. So don't be shy. Get people to join. They can always drop out. I mean, this is, free of charge. So encourage others to join. If you have counterparts in other national societies or in branches, invite them to join. It's okay if they miss this first meeting, because one, it's recorded, and two, it's more about rules and regulations and objectives than it is about actually learning something, even though we will learn something, that I promise. And actually, the thing that we will learn is the very first thing to understand with motivation is that our well-being, our personal well-being, and not least the energy we put into our work is a motivational outcome. So that is the one key takeaway in terms of self-determination theory that you will bring home with you in about 45 minutes. So these courses last 1 hour, and we are counting on doing one a month, but there will be lots of activities between the webinars. Lots of little activities to do. Nothing dramatic. This is your work. If you're, managing volunteers, this is part of your work. So it's not like you're taking, time off to learn something useless. Quite the contrary. It's also an opportunity for us to network, to know each other, because who knows, we might need each other in the near future, in the Red Cross, Red Crescent, or elsewhere. Okay. Is everybody okay? If I'm speaking too fast, just shout. If you need a quick translation, we can summarize in the chat. But if everything's okay, then we will continue. I will just continue by saying I've posted in the community of practice the rules on how to get points, how to earn points to get your certificate. So as an exercise, I suggest that we go on the community of practice and we find these rules. So Saddam is being nice. He's actually showing it on the screen.
I'm showing the steps only. Yes.
So if it were me, I'd give you 5 minutes to find it and then, expel anybody who doesn't find it. But Saddam's a nice guy. So he's actually showing on the screen where it is in the community of practice. So it's under the post, let's improve volunteer leadership and management practice in the Red Cross, Red Crescent. You have a very beautiful infographic that sort of explains, the whole system. But more importantly, if you read more, you will see that you will have some explanations on how to earn points. So basically, there are 3 ways of earning points. One way is by posting a meaningful post or comment or question or answer on the community of practice. So it could be a personal reflection, it could be a result, it could be just a good question. And then if the 3 moderators give you a thumbs up, that means it's meaningful. So the moderators are nice. You will get lots of meaningful posts. If you do get the 3 thumbs up, that's a point for you. But then if other people give you a thumbs up, those are additional points. So here we're measuring your level of engagement, both in terms of quantity and quality in the community of practice around the leadership program. So that's fun and it's not difficult. Another way of earning points is by answering quizzes. So we've designed a bunch of quizzes. They're actually easy quizzes. But quizzes are a very nice way to remember things and to review and to become aware of what you understand and what might be a little more difficult. So do these quizzes, and then each time you get a good answer, you get a point. So you'll get a lot of points answering the quizzes. But more importantly, you'll be assessing your level of understanding of the theory and the practice of human motivation. And then last but not least, the third way of earning points is to do a Motiro exercise. And so we will be doing one together very soon. So you'll know what it is. We'll do one together as one team. And then you'll have to do one on your own. And then you will be journaling your adventure on the community of practice. You'll be asking questions on the community of practice. You'll be asking for help in the community of practice. And this is where we all practice being coaches, where we all practice peer-to-peer learning. But at the same time, you will be learning things about volunteer motivation in your national society or even among staff, because you can also do the same for staff. It's not just for volunteers.
Gabriel, Margarita posted a comment on the chat. Margarita, perhaps you want to intervene?
Yeah.
Yes. What can I do with the points? I'm getting excited.
Yes, but if you get at least 25 points in engagement and at least 25 points in the quizzes and at least 50 points for your Motiro exercise, you become an official Motiro leadership coach. So this is something that you will put on your CV, and you will join the pool of Motiro coaches that will be helping other people with volunteer management, leadership, etc. So this is a training that is there to develop the skills that you probably already have, but that you will improve, strengthen, but it will give you also the structure and the science so that you can actually teach other people. And you can actually help other people, help other volunteer coordinators or team leads who are trying to improve the motivation of their volunteers or their staff. Did I answer your question, Margarita?
Of course. Excellent. Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm counting on you. Okay, so that's the certification process. Does anybody else have any questions before we move on? You're free to ask your questions on the community of practice later also. So if it all seems simple now, but then you're sort of confused, don't hesitate to ask your questions in the community of practice. So Karine, maybe you can, or Karine or Salam, maybe you can help us navigate the other functions of the community of practice.
We do
Karine,
we
you
do
want
it
to do
together,
this?
Salam.
Yes.
You share the
Okay.
screen. I start with the timeline, and then you move on with the resources. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So you just, I mean, perhaps you member of the volunteering development group, community of practice. So in this community of practice, you have one subgroup, which is the subgroup volunteer engagement, motivation, and retention. And when you go under the subgroup, you reach the timeline. Yeah, here we are. And we are in this timeline where I put the link to join the webinar. Salam had also this point with the let's go to know each other. Then Gabriel explained about how to get the points, many things. So you can all the time also, if you have a new question coming in, you can ask it also on the timeline, or you can respond to the question that we will ask into the timeline. Then we have at the other side of the screen, all the group members. We have the app Motiro. So it's a direct link on the Motiro app. So if you click on it, you directly go to the Motiro app, and don't worry, we'll go through this and we will test it during all those meetings. We'll have then we will all the time under the calendar put the time for the next webinars. We said the rhythm will be once a month, something like this. I think we will keep this time, as we do today, and we will see for the people of Asia Pacific if we can find another time for them. And under you have some documents as well where you can find some document on how to use Motiro in the several languages and the 4 official languages. Salam, you comment the others?
Sorry?
Do you want to comment the another category?
Like the topics, for example.
Yes.
The topic,
The
perhaps?
topics and the resources.
Yeah.
The resources are the document that Karine told us about, and we have the topics that are most interesting about motivation, engagement, well-being, and so on. Everything we want to know about volunteering and retention. So we have a topic about motivation. This one we're gonna go deeper in this during the question in a few. Also, we can click for the engagement. We have some resources and images, the retention, the 3 psychological needs, so on and so on. Yes, the belonging, autonomy, and competency. We have the psychological safety and well-being. We have a title about the practicing leadership.
Salam, we don't hear you anymore.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
now it's better.
Okay. I was saying about practicing leadership skills. There is a title also for this, and running Motiro journey, the steps, the 5 steps that we want to go into in order to complete the Motiro journey, from the designing phase to the step 5, which is the plan of action, developing a plan of action for the group of volunteers to motivate them for a certain period of time. So this about the topics, and that's it regarding the volunteering engagement and motivation. We have in the left side the groups and the chat that we are chatting with people, and the groups that we are joining, so we can just click on them, and that's it. Anything to add?
Yeah, perhaps to the topics. For the topics,
Yeah.
this is only basics. We will improve it. We with you. I mean, this will be a learning platform, so we want to improve it with you, with the discussion of the webinar we will have. This will move a little bit, so we'll come back to the different topics when we see the different. During the different webinars.
Yeah, that's
Gabriel,
right. So Yes, absolutely. So thanks. So the idea is we did not want to overload the site with all our resources. So we have a lot of resources to share on self-determination theory, on human motivation, on Motiro. We have results. We have really a lot of resources to share with you, but we didn't want to overwhelm you and overload the platform. So what we will be doing is every week there will be a special theme. We will be discussing on the community of practice this theme, and we will be loading the resources relevant to that theme. So that means there will be a dialogue between ourselves, the questions that we ask, and then the science and the different resources that will be put in the topics. So this means that, right now there's a lot. Well, there's actually probably enough for you to keep you busy this week. But the idea is that you need to come at least once a week, look at the timeline, answer some questions, go to the topics, read up. You do that at your own pace. And then when we meet in 1 month, people will have learned. So the learning is not what happens during the webinar. The learning is what happens between webinars, also in the community of practice. So you will see, come often, because if you wait 3 weeks before coming, then you'll be overloaded with stuff. So it's better to come and 5 minutes, 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there, between 2 meetings, check the posts, check your notifications. And if you're enrolled in the leadership program, which I hope you all are now, you will get quizzes by mail. And so you have to reply to the quizzes also to earn your points. Everybody
Perhaps we
is
should
still
move to the
excited?
poll.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. Perhaps if you scroll under the timeline.
Do I share the poll, or we wait for them to find it in the
Perhaps no. We start. Perhaps if you scroll a little bit down, you will see how are we feeling.
Oh.
So here you see the result, because some people already answered to it, but perhaps you did not answer to this poll. So I really would like to ask you to do it. So the question is, at work I feel strong and vigorous. It's one question that we pick up from the self-determination theory that is included into this Motiro survey. And then we'll see it's the first question we're starting with. We start with this question because we think that motivation is also about yourself, the way you feel, the way, and you are responsible for your own motivation and the way you feel. Not only, of course, there are many factors, but one and it's always an interrelation, but one factor is really to be aware that you are responsible for your own motivation as well. You are not responsible for the motivation of others. Best example would be a teacher with a class of students that are not motivated at all and that are just bored. It's not very motivating for the teacher. So it's an interrelation. So I ask you to pause to answer, and then we will comment the poll.
So this means that now you have to really go on the community of practice and to answer the poll. And it's a moment to reflect on how you feel now, how you usually feel at work when you're with the Red Cross, Red Crescent. It's anonymous, so you can answer any way you want. There's no way of knowing, who answered what. As you can see, we have 14 responses.
We reached 22 responses, Gabriel.
Yes, because so we have to refresh once in a while to see things move.
Yes.
23. Okay, this is very good. Now, as people are still answering, I'm tempted to give you a little tip. When we have these webinars, it's always good to have a notebook and to write down your ideas and your insights, how you feel. Keep a kind of journal. As soon as you have an idea or an insight, write it down, record it. And if you feel that that insight is useful, that it can be meaningful for others, then post it. But many of your insights will be more personal, and you don't need to post these. So post the insights that you get during this journey when you feel that they're a good conversation starter or that they might inspire others. Okay, so I will refresh. Okay, so I'm still at 23 responses. Salam, should we continue
Yes.
now? Okay.
Okay.
So for those of you who did not manage to log on to the community of practice, no worries. Send a message to Margarita, who is here, and she'll help you. It's just, you'll just need to register at one point, and the earlier the better. For the others, well, welcome on board. So now let's reflect together on what this means. So maybe Saram or Karine, do you want to read the results for us?
Yeah, I'll read them.
Okay.
So for the question, at the work, I feel strong and vigorous. We have 7 options to answer, or 7 options, yes. For every time, we had 4%. For very often, we have 30%. For often, we have 39%. For sometimes, we have 26%. For rarely, almost never and never, we have 0% for those 3 options. So yes, most of the answers are between sometimes and very often and often, who are feel vigorous, strong and vigorous during their volunteering or during their work activity with the Red Cross.
Okay, so let's see what we can make of this result. What does this actually mean? So is this the way we feel right now? Do we feel energetic?
Yes, if I can comment, because I put some comments in the
You did, yes.
the platform.
Mhm.
Because I always have issues when we speak about motivation. I don't know why. So first I said it was very hard for me to answer that question because motivation changes so much for me depending of the circumstances. And then the other question I was asking or pointing out is that, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong, so I'm here with the experts, so I hope I can get some insights. It's like I feel that motivation is understood different depending on the culture. So I don't know. Sometimes I don't even know if I'm motivated. I just have a task to do it, and I do it because that's the way I was brought up. But I see that in these European countries, a lot is placed. If you feel motivated, then you do it. So I don't know which one is right or wrong. I just think it's different ways to conceive motivation.
Okay. So Margarita, thank you so much. In a way, it would be great if you actually wrote that down as a comment, because this is a very nice segue into what we are about to learn with self-determination theory. So self-determination theory is a theory as in an explanation of what motivates human beings. And if you look in the topics, we put a definition of what we mean by motivation. It's actually not our definition. It's a definition of Professors Ryan and Deci. So if we go, maybe Salam, you can go into the topic section for a moment, and then you will see that here we have defined motivation. So there you go. So you have the I don't know if somebody can read this. It's so Salam, can you read the definition given by Ryan Dessy on what we mean by motivated, by being motivated?
I'm trying to, yes.
So it's the
Okay,
it's
so yes, it's true. To be motivated means to be moved to do something. This is very important. So a person who feels no impetus or or have no inspiration to act or is a person who is unmotivated. Whereas someone who is energized, activated toward an end, this is a person who is motivated. So yes, we need to have the urge to do something.
That's right. So
Motivated.
exactly. So when we talk about being motivated, we're saying that we have the energy to do something. We have the energy. We're not saying the reason why we want to do something. We're saying that we have the energy to move. Okay, so if I'm at work, I had the energy to go to work. So it doesn't say anything about the quality of my motivation or what motivated me. It just says that I had the energy, I had it in me, I had the energy to get on my bicycle, drive across Geneva, walk up 4 flights of steps and sit at my desk. I was motivated to do that. Now, what motivated me is something else. But I was motivated because I had the energy to actually make that movement towards the office. So that will be our first definition of motivation right now. And that motivation works for every single human being. It's not cultural. So in every single society, whether you're a man, a woman, a child, an elderly person, if you're motivated to go get a glass of water, that means you have the energy to get that glass of water. That's all we're saying right now. There's no value judgments on whether it's good or bad. This is where we are starting now today. Hence the question that we ask, and that is asked in a Motiro survey about our energy levels. How often do we feel energetic? How often do we feel vigorous? So if I'm very motivated, I'm very energetic, usually. If I'm not very motivated, I don't have that much energy. That's what we're saying. So,
and if we read the poll, I think we are pretty much on this side, quite energetic. No?
Yes, we are energetic. Yes, it's actually very reassuring to see that we're energetic in this group, because it's this group that will be responsible for motivating other people. So if we have absolutely no energy, we will just contaminate the others with our lack of energy. But if we are energetic, then that means we can transmit our energy to other people and get people to move together in one direction. So that's what we call motivation. It's creating that energy, creating energy. Now, Margarita came up with a very good point, is when we talk about motivation at work, it depends on the culture, right? In some places, you want to go to work because you want to be with people, or because you want to go to work because you like your work, or sometimes you go to work not because you like your work, but because you have to earn a living. So these are different types of motivation, which actually give you different levels of energy. And so this is something that we will study in detail in this group. We will learn the different sorts of motivation. And to give you a preview, it really depends on how much it's self-determined, hence the name.
Gabriel, we have nice comments on the platform. Perhaps we can move.
Okay.
I like Thomas did a nice comment. There are many factors. He talks about the climate, good job, partners, good attitude, share goals. That's certainly different factors that we'll see. And Javier also had a very nice one. The workload is much higher, so it depends on the workload. And then sometimes there are tasks that he doesn't really enjoy, and that removes motivation. However, at other times, taking on challenging or innovative tasks to generate an improvement in our action makes my motivation grow. So that's perhaps the difference with self-determined, the motivation, the things you choose where you are autonomous, and perhaps the other part where you do not choose the things you have to do because you have to do them. They are not fun. And I think, Javier, you had a very good point. You explained a bit what is coming below what Gabriel explained, the intrinsic motivation and the extrinsic motivation.
Very good. So thanks for posting your comments in the timeline. It's important that you do so because we will be looking at them and we'll be addressing some of these points. So the more you put your ideas there, the more it will guide us in designing the next webinars. We will actually address some of these points. So please feel free to make your comments.
And then we have Oleski and Noemi as well who comment. Also, I believe that each color has its own characteristic, but we need to create an energetic strategy according to the group we work with to motivate again. I'm a trainer of the institutional doctrine. I believe that we must create motivating spaces. This motivational tool helps us to measure that motivation. Of course, we must identify it. Very good point. And then Oleski also did a comment. Or perhaps made some sources.
Very good. Excellent.
Understanding side. Perhaps we have to read it. I have no clue about those.
So,
Gabriel, for the next meeting.
Yeah. So thanks, Alexis, to give us resources. We will read them and post them. So it's very important. We're not making things up, right? We will be referring to the science and papers, and we will be referencing what we say. So the more scientific reference we have, the better. So if any one of you, has read an interesting paper on motivation, on volunteering, post it, and we will read it, and we'll add that to our knowledge pack on volunteering. So please share all the resources as Alexei has. Please also like the comments you like, because that will allow those of you who make a meaningful comment to get points. So you need to cooperate here. So make sure you like.
The extrinsic motivation, Gabriel.
Yeah.
Let's see if
I'm counting on your love of points.
But let's see what is more effective.
Any more comments, Karine or Salam, that you would like to read out or make yourselves?
Just, to sum up, Raymond, Moto want to say something. Moto.
Moto.
No, I think I unmuted myself by accident, but
you also raised your hand. So Moto is one of the coders. So he's one of the designers and coders, along with Vlad, of the Motiro app. So maybe we can say something about the app. So we haven't really introduced the app just yet, because first we want to make sure that we sort of agree on the method and that we have the basics. But we will be introducing it very soon. So the app was actually developed by Karine and myself with Professor Stefan Günthert, who's an expert on self-determination theory and volunteering. And it was also designed by Moto and Vlad, who are right now in Brazil. And so the app, just to be clear, belongs to them. So they are owners of the code. But the Red Cross, Red Crescents, the Secretariat, all Red Cross, Red Crescent entities have a free lifelong license to use it. And many national societies have already contributed to giving feedback and to funded features of the app. So this is an app that's really designed by national societies, by the Volunteering Alliance. It's really our app, even though it's owned by Code Energy. The reason why it's owned by Code Energy is because First of all, we can't see the data, so it's more confidential. It's not, the data is on their server. But more importantly, it's cheaper and it's more sustainable, because this means that even if the IFRC, if one day the IFRC decided not to fund MOTI, it wouldn't change anything because it's not funding it. So this means that we have a very viable and sustainable business model with Code Energy. If you have any questions about the data and the app, it's, please post your questions and we'll answer them. So we have about 10 minutes left before wrapping up. How are we doing on the? Yeah.
Motiro raising his hand, but
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, this time it was on purpose. This time I did it on purpose. So I just wanted to add that that Vlad and I are super excited for this community of practice, because we're often a bit lost in our code base, and it's very nice to actually meet people using the application to really understand how it works in the field, what problems people have, what things are clear, unclear, what can be improved. And so, like, don't ever think that you're bugging us by giving us feedback. We actually like it, and it even motivates us because we feel like we're having an impact and people are actually engaged with our work, that it has like meaning and purpose. So really feel free to send us any message. It can be like some little bug. Don't worry if it's little. Like, we still need to fix it, and we're happy to get some feedback, because sometimes it's just the two of us. We don't manage to test everything in every circumstance. So if there's like a tiny little bug, or sometimes it can be like a grammar spelling mistake in one of our like 10 languages. So anything really, just contact us, or just to send us love if you like the app. If you send us a little message saying you like it, that's also great. So really feel free to get in touch with us. It really, like, it makes a huge difference for us.
Great. Well, thanks for that. That is very encouraging. So any questions for Vlad or Muto? So Muto is Raimondo's nickname. For those, it's just easier to pronounce.
Margarita has a question.
Margarita.
Yes, not for the app, but I will try the app and provide feedback. Just for the facilitators, once again, if we have questions, we can just post them in the timeline, because I do have many questions, but I don't want to be jumping around into many topics. So just let me know if there's a specific place, or I can just throw my questions there.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we're learning as we go, and so I think post your questions wherever you can, and if we see that there's a trend, then we'll try to group it into one post and get people to react to different themes simultaneously. But that way it will be sort of organized. So for the time being, post your questions wherever it seems the most logical. And maybe I think we have one last question before we continue, which is reflecting about. Didn't we have another question, Karine?
Yes, we have from Nisha. Yeah. Can individual join this program at any time, or do they have to wait for a round of trainings?
Very good. Yes, right now, join now, because as you notice, we're sort of getting familiar with with the platform, and we're sort of creating a group dynamic. So people should be able to join in the coming week. It would be good if they join in the coming week, and then we can always have another. If we see many people are joining, then we can have always a second webinar like this one, or they can listen to this webinar, this recording. So it's not too late to get other people to join. In fact, if we get more people from Asia Pacific, we'll have a second series of webinars earlier in the day to accommodate the people who live in Fiji and, on the other side of the planet.
Who are them? In the middle of the night.
We have people from Vanuatu already, so don't be shy.
Okay. I think we're approaching to the end of this session. It was really an introduction session. I think we will fix another one in 1 month, something like this. But we could start, also we have posted just right now a new post, key takeaways. So what are your key takeaways from this session? That would be nice before you leave. if you could, it will help us for the next one, for the preparation of the next one. Please, I invite you to answer to it.
And maybe if you have a question, you can post it there too.
As well, of course.
Yeah. If you have a question that you want us to answer, post it there.
Question of Oleski: how can we access the recording of the recording of the session? We'll post it on the platform. We'll see with Margarita how to do it. We never did it, but she will support us.
Yes, you will find it. You will find it for sure. We'll make sure that it's. I think we can just post it in the timeline.
We have no
right,
clue
Margarita?
so far, but we will discover it.
I think we can post it in the timeline. We'll post it in the timeline.
Yeah, we can post it in the timeline.
Okay,
Definitely.
very good.
And Asia Pacific region is happy. So I think perhaps if Asia Pacific wants another seminar, and people like the post and the proposal of Francesca, perhaps we could already organize the seminar for Asia Pacific. So put it in the key takeaways as well. Then we have Ekaterini, the app on the phone does not work all the time. I could not post anything from my phone. You mean not the app, you mean the community of practice, Ekaterini. Ekaterini, do you mean the community of practice?
Yes, the community of practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good feedback. We just released the app of the community.
Sorry, I just managed to unmute myself. Yes, I mean, yes, that's what I meant. Yeah. I wrote down the comments and I couldn't send them.
Okay, so you'll have to.
They never came in.
So save your comments in your mind, and then go to your computer and post them there. So I think Margarita was saying that the phone app for the community of practice is brand new, so there might be some issues still that we need to resolve.
Okay.
Okay, Noemi says it's okay. The mobile app is okay for her.
Can I ask something else now that I managed to unmute myself?
Yes.
The Motiro journey, you're referring to running a Moti program?
Yes.
Or you're referring to something else?
No, it's a Moti program. So Ekaterini did what we called a Moti marathon in Cyprus with the Cyprus Red Cross. And we did that also, and Moto was there too. And so she has a wealth of experience she did a complete journey, including a lot of the training that you will be having in this group. A lot of it was designed by Ekaterini. So she's a great resource person, and we're very fortunate to have her on board. And so the exercise, as to earn points to get your certificate, you will have to do a Motiro exercise in your national society, but it's not complicated to do, and you have plenty of coaches to help you. So that's fine. I think people who've already done it, they already got their points. So Ekaterini, you don't need to do another one because you've done it for a full year last year. So
I don't mind doing another one as long as I have the competition.
Okay, well, you're more than welcome to do it again.
Idea to do another one actually by now.
Right. So I mean, you can be considered a quasi-certified Motiro coach. You just have to do all the quizzes and put lots of likes. Okay, so how are we doing with the takeaways? Feel free to ask questions, make comments. We can always figure it out a little later. And again, please come back often to the community of practice, because we will be posting things almost every day. Others will be joining us and posting things. And if you wrote down in your journal some insights, or if you have an insight in 1 hour, in 2 hours, or tomorrow, just share it. Share it with us. It's gonna help. It's going to help us more than you can imagine.
So we have a nice key takeaways from Astrid. The community provides a relevant platform for our collective efforts in increasing motivation for volunteer engagement. Yeah, I think the community was really what we were missing. with Moti. Thank you, Asmit, for this point. Nancy, these topics are very interesting. I would like to continue learning more, so people are motivated. One objective is reached for one person at least. And then Noemi, we need to standardize the topic of motivation in our national society. So that's what we try to do with this exercise, to direct the tool to the same objective with the related topics to learn more about the guide in order to integrate it into our activities. Yeah, very good. So yeah, I think that's what we're trying to do, to standardize. And there is not one way. There are many ways. And we have already here several national society who made the experience, who are doing the journey right now. And I think we will just learn from each other, because motivation is the key to understand volunteering.
So yeah, so I think Naomi is really on the spot, because we managed with Motiro to standardize the basics of human motivation for volunteers and for staff. And on top of that, there's a possibility to customize with your own questions. So the Moti app is a survey that's standardized according to self-determination theory. So far, it has worked in over 15 countries. It works very, very well. But on top of that, you can customize it with your own questions on motivation or on anything else, actually. So I think Naomi, you'll be very, very pleased as we continue in this training.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we're all very busy, and it's really important for us to make this very dense. So we went a little fast, perhaps, but the idea is to keep to this 1 hour. So that way, that you will block 1 hour in your agenda once a month, plus some time to go on the community of practice, and that will be the level of effort. We will not create too much work for everybody, but the minimum amount of work for you to internalize the key elements of leadership and of volunteer engagement, motivation, and retention. So we're really counting on you to regularly come and check out the community of practice, and to post your ideas, share your resources, and then join us, every month for the webinar. Karine, would you like to say anything? Or Salam?
No, for me, it's good. Thanks to all of you for your attendance, and looking forward. I'm quite motivated after this one. I don't know how you feel.
Energetic.
Yes. Looking forward to connect on the community of practice and answer some comment and answer your question and so on.
Okay.
So I think we can close.
I think we can close. Yes, and so you can watch us a second and third time. We will be posting the video on the timeline. And you'll be quizzed on everything I said.
Okay, thanks a lot for your attendance.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
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 Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.